Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian, Pace reporting live here at SOB's here in New York City. Releasing his fourth CD, A Love Surreal, on the E-Note Records label, soul vocalist Bilal has had his fair share of the ups and downs of the recording industry. In fact, this has been a tremendous year for Bilal. In fact, the breakout album, A Love Surreal, was really a combination of influence from John Coltrane's A Love Supreme and artist Salvador Dali. This record really is about the emotions of love, dealing with love, and the sacrifice of love. Tonight he's performing selections with his band here, A Love Surreal, and we sat down earlier and we talked about the brand new record. We talked about his origins growing up in Philadelphia. Also, we talked about the development of him staying true to his roots musically and being truly an independent artist on a larger scale now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of Brother Bilal here at SOB's here in New York City. Bilal, congratulations on this brand new album. I mean, the last couple of months, the success of this and the word of mouth has kind of put your career in a whole nother stratosphere.
Oh man, you think so? That's cool.
I know so.
Nice.
Tell me about the concept of this record. I understand it's a combination of Salvador Dali and also John Coltrane.
Yeah, as far as the title goes, that those two people really encompass what I was doing. John Coltrane for the music, as far as the stretching is concerned, and the place where he was at when he made that record. It really turned into a spiritual kind of a place for him. And as far as Dali, the look and just the adventurism as far as the whole look of the album was the concept behind that, and soundscaping, So yeah.
You know, I think when I first heard this record, of all four projects, this is your fourth one that you put out. This seems like this is the record that you've always wanted to record since the beginning of your career.
Um, yeah, I guess, I think my last album and this album, yeah, it's been my most free, freest place, as far as creativity goes. I don't really have anybody like kind of giving me boundaries.
Are you happy with the fact that the new label E1 has allowed you to continue to grow as an artist and pretty much let you say what you want to say musically and spiritually?
Of course, that's like a big plus for me, with the type of music that I want to do, to have a record company that is allowing me to do that, it's great.
Let's talk about Back to Love. I understand that it was inspired by the fusion jazz group Weather Report.
Yeah. Just the sound and the whole Joe Zawinul kind of keyboard sound. We didn't have any horns, but just their style of arrangements are concerned, definitely.
Tell me about your role as producer now, because the last couple of projects you've had some outside help, but this one you took the reins as executive producer and you worked with a plethora of different musicians on this project.
Yeah, I mean, music is a big thing for me. I've always been into writing songs and into chords and playing instruments, from college and even from high school. So to be able to be the architect behind the music as well, not just the lyrics is concerned, but to really have a vision for the sound and everything. That's kind of what I've been working on this whole time.
Your storytelling, your songwriting, there have been a couple of people in the last decade, I think, that have really put a twist to writing songs. You, Marsha Ambrosius, and Van Hunt. You guys are really living a lot of the songs that you're recording.
Yeah, I try to keep it 100 with, me. I try to just stick with what I know. I feel like I can sing that better, if I'm singing about something that I can identify with.
We tell the kids
let's talk about Philadelphia. Philadelphia is where you're born and bred, and you came out of the church, but this was also a period of time coming up in the church growing up. You knew that music was going to be your calling. Tell me about your religious experience with music, and tell me about when you wanted to step outside of the realm of religious music and do your own thing.
Well, I've been singing since I was a little kid in church, maybe since I was around 5 years old, My mother's a very religious woman, so I've been in the church choir for a long time. There's probably some recordings out there of me on some mass choir albums and stuff. I was into it. But my dad was also an avid jazz lover, so I think that kind of started to take more of a play when I got into my teenage years, I started to go to a performing arts high school, and a lot of my friends, their fathers were avid jazz musician lovers, or jazz music lovers, I would say. And a lot of them, their parents were jazz musicians, Like my two best friends, they were twins, and their dad was a drummer. So we would go to his house every day after school and jam, And in the high school, that's where I really got into playing piano and singing and writing songs, So we would go back to their house and jam a lot. My dad, he wasn't a musician, but he actually for a time owned a jazz club, and his best friend owned most of the jazz clubs in the city of Philadelphia. He still owns one of the awesome blues clubs out there right now, So I grew up in that kind of environment. My pops wasn't a jazz musician, but he carried himself like that, you know what I'm saying? He said all the hip talk, So I guess the older I got, I started to emulate my pops more, maybe,
Is it true that you used to wear pajamas in high school?
Yeah, I was always a trendsetter, a quirky kind of a cat. I like to just do stuff to get attention. I guess it was more prevalent in high school, but after I did it, everybody started doing it. It wasn't like so much of all the pajamas, but the pajamas that have the print, the old man pajama. I used to wear that with Tim's, man. Cats loved it. Summertime, that was the teenage linen outfit. Yeah, that was some shorts, maybe, you just wear the top. I've always been into fashion like that, I guess.
Your career has always been against the grain, outside the box, and I think that's something to be very commendable at this stage of your career and where you're moving. When you went to the New School in New York and you met Robert Glasper, who's been on pretty much everything that you've done, did you guys think in a million years that you guys would be turning the record industry, the music industry, inside out with your talent and what you're bringing to the industry?
Yeah. I think we always had that in mind, just that whole outspoken kind of approach to the music, Plus, I know I always dreamed of moving to New York, and doing what I do now. And Rob was the same way, so when we got here, it was almost just like, it's time to live out the dream, and be a doer. So, yeah, we always talked about it, You talk about stuff long enough, it'll happen, or at least you'll be ready when it does,
One of the things that I remember on Firstborn was the fact that you had a hodgepodge of different producers on there. And one of the producers in particular, God rest his soul, was J Dilla. And J Dilla kind of did something differently in the early 2000s with music, late 1990s, early 2000s with music. Now that he's gone now, reflecting on J Dilla, where do you think his legacy lies now within hip-hop and R&B?
Um, Man, his legacy lies really in the form of the music and just how he was able to stretch rhythm and really kind of change the feel of the music. You know, he really like added beautiful colors. It's kind of like he took up where Tribe was going. You know what I mean? And Tribe really, in my opinion, they offered up that whole just a different sound, a little more of jazz type of chords and dissonance kind of a sound, stretch out. And then Dilla really came and took that kind of vibe to a whole nother level, you know, and really just stretched the music out a whole nother way, you know, using the jazz and really taking it and changing it sonically, you know. If you know a Dilla beat as soon as it comes on, you know what I mean? And he really got into sound and just very meticulous the way he would do his thing, you know.
Because, you know, I'm starting to see, you know, great things and hear great things from Flying Lotus and Moody Man. And I'm wondering when you guys are going to hook up, because your talent and their talents, I think you guys could do some hellified stuff.
Yeah, man, that would be dope. I love both of those cats. Really dope. Good cats.
Do you think that Moody Man and Flying Lotus are kind of stepchildren to Dilla's legacy?
For sure. Yeah. You know, Dilla affected a lot of people, you know, and when you listen to those cats, they're very particular about their sound, you know what I'm saying, and how they stretch the music. I think Dilla really kind of started that whole quirky scientist kind of concept and approach, you know. He was a real wizard.
You're a jazz vocalist, singing soul, rock, fusion. And I think that's been the hard grasp for, I guess, record executives, because you had a very bad nightmare experience with Interscope. We know about that, but the whole concept of you singing jazz in the terms that you're singing it now, people don't understand that. Explain.
I don't know, you know, it has a lot to do with just American history in general, you know. American history is kind of made and then forgotten, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of the same way with the music, especially black music, you know. It's, you have a phase, you have a certain sound, and then a few years later, no one even remembers it really, you know. And if you bring it back, it's kind of a throwback, or it's different, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to other styles of music, you know. classical music. It's something that's revered, you know, taught in the schools, you know. And maybe that's one of the reasons why, you know, people don't really understand the music in its depth. It's not really in the schools anymore. So I think people don't really, maybe they might not have a palette for that. So my whole thing is just really just simplify what it is that I do and continue to do that because it's fun for me, you know. And it started off like, must do this so motherfuckers can understand me. But now I'm just like, man, it'd be really fun to kind of simplify my shit into a more potent form, just to make cool songs, you know. Cooler songs. There's always a journey. I don't know. It's a journey.
You know what I hated? What I hated the most was that you put out Love for Sale. Or it leaked out. And the very same musical concepts that you had on that record, Andre 3000 was doing. You were so ahead of the curve. And it's wild how the majors back that, but the majors didn't back what you were trying to do.
Well, you know, I'll tell you exactly what they told me was, you know, I was, one, too young, and that I couldn't do anything like that on a second album. You know, I had to put out a few more albums to be able to do that. And, you know, Andre 3000 had already sold a lot of records, so he could say, I want to do some Ziggy Stardust shit. You know what I mean? I can't, you know what I mean? I come in there, I want to do some Bowie, flip out. And like, but you gotta sell a certain amount of records before you flip out. You know, that's the way we do it here. You know, so I don't know. You know, I don't really think about stuff like that. You know, I keep myself going by staying present and looking into the future. I only take with the stuff that I take with me from the past is the things that I learned. Everything else, I keep it moving.
Bilal, what does soul music mean to you?
Soul music is just honest expression of yourself and your life. You know what I mean? Into song. Really.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at SOB's here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank the talented Bilal for his time, as well as the staff and management here at SOB's. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.